Guys, I'm really happy to welcome to the podcast someone who is featured in the new film Police State. Her name is Sonya LaBosco. She's a retired supervisory federal air marshal, and she is also the founder of Air Marshall National Council. The website, airmarshallnc.com, airmarshallnc.com. Sonya, thanks for joining me. We're all excited about the film. I think you mentioned to me that there's going to be air marshals across the country going to see the film either today on the opening day or some on Wednesday.
That is right, Dinesh, and thank you for having us, and thank you so much for highlighting what's going on within the Federal Air Marshal Program and the continued corruption. But yes, we've got watch parties tonight. We're going to have watch parties on the 25th. All across the nation, we have air marshals in 20 cities across the United States, and everyone's going to be at our watch parties watching this film's release. So we're really excited about it.
That is good stuff, Sonya. Now, you know, when people think about the police state, they think about the police agencies of government. Typically, they think of the FBI. People say to me, well, Dinesh, you're making a movie about the FBI. And I'm like, well, you know, the FBI is just part of this much wider network. Many people don't realize that the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, is a lot bigger than the FBI, and yet DHS is also involved in censorship. They're also involved in political targeting. Where does the air marshals fit into this larger picture?
Well, unfortunately, Dinesh, we're in a small agency called the Transportation Security Administration, which is a small element of DHS. And within TSA, they're an administrative agency, so they have no law enforcement powers. Only the Federal Air Marshal Service, which we're a small little law enforcement group nestled inside this huge bureaucratic agency, we're the only ones that have arrest powers. So within DHS lies TSA, then lies the Federal Air Marshal. And as you can see, the pendulum is swinging politically for all these things that are happening within the Biden administration. Air marshals have been in Operation Allies Welcome. We've been put on military bases for Afghan refugees. We were made to provide our personal identifiable information given to China for our undercover agents flying to China. We've been taken out of the skies and put to the southwest border, another Biden administrative initiative. And also what we're going to talk about today is regarding the political targeting of Trump supporters by the Federal Air Marshal Service.
Now, you say in the film that what I think people do know, and that is that the Air Marshal program was ramped up dramatically after 9/11. And of course, the intention was really clear, and that is to follow foreign terrorists who had established a domestic base in this country, mainly by using aircraft just the way that they did on 9/11. And yet you saw that in the time around and after January 6th, a very peculiar redeployment of the air marshals. Talk about that.
Well, Dinesh, it was something I didn't think I would ever see in my time as a law enforcement officer. I've been doing law enforcement since 1990, and never have we seen this political bias happen. But after January the 6th, the FBI reached out to the TSA, and they asked them for a manifest of all passengers that traveled into the National Capital Region from January the 5th to the 7th, 2021. TSA gave that list to the FBI, but they also took the same manifest, did not scrub the list, didn't look for any potential people that may have been innocent, and they ingested that list to a TSA national database, basing those people and stating that they are suspected domestic terrorists.
So let's be really clear what we're saying. There were obviously people who came to DC within that period to go to the Trump rally. Some of those people, a tiny minority, went into the Capitol and then later became the target of prosecution. But I think what you're saying is that the people who went on this suspect list was anybody who went to Washington, D.C., whether it be a guy going for a business convention, a kid who's, let's say, in a divorce, he's spending the weekend with his dad, he flies in on January 5th. That kid is not only on the list, but is it the case that you have air marshals following that kid back and forth in future flights?
You exactly nailed it, Dinesh. That's exactly right. If you just flew into the region, in the area, you could be there for a funeral, for a job interview. You could be there just on vacation. You are definitely on this list, and not only are you being followed by the air marshals in the airplane, you're being followed from your home, to the aircraft, off the airport property, and to your final destination. You're being followed.
I didn't realize that the air marshals do that kind of thing. I thought that basically they kind of board the plane with a backpack and they sit down, and then when you get off the plane, but you're saying the program is actually more, it makes more sense actually that there would be that you would actually monitor people from one point to their full destination. I didn't realize that was what was going on.
Yes, that's correct, Dinesh. We're writing down tag numbers, vehicles that you're in, any identifiable information, or anybody that you're traveling with. If you're traveling with a business partner who was not even in D.C. during that time, that person could be flagged as a potential domestic terrorist because now they're flying with you. So this not only hurts the individual person, it hurts their family or anyone that may be traveling with them as well.
Sonia, what do you make of the fact, I mean, just look at the psychology of an air marshal who's a decent guy doing a job, and they now realize I'm following all these guys who went to D.C. regardless of the reason that they went to D.C. There's a certain type of madness, I think, here. Does the air marshal justify that by saying, I just have a job to do, there's not much I can do about it, this is my assignment, I have to carry it out? And why would the agency be continuing a program that is so manifestly absurd?
Well, the air marshals are quite disgusted, Dinesh. And yes, we have ones that refuse. We have ones that do refuse, and the agency wants to tremendously discipline them. We have other air marshals that just go along because they're like, I can't lose my job. They'll weaponize my clearance against me. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose everything I have. So they just go along with the agency when they're given these missions. And also with the agency knows this is illegal. Make no mistake, TSA Administrator David Pekoski, he knows that this is not appropriate to be surveilling and spying on innocent Americans who have, by the way, not even broken a traffic law. Most of them have no background, no criminal history. But we're being run by Francine Kerner. Francine Kerner is a TSA chief counsel. She is a Clinton supporter. She's a holdover from Whitewater. She actually faced ethical violations for releasing Whitewater information during the probe outside people that were outside the investigation. So you've got these unelected bureaucrats who are running our agency, and they're using it for their political motivations.
And is there also a financial or bureaucratic objective in the sense that the TSA gets to say, hey, we're part of this big campaign against domestic terrorism. Obviously, we expect funding for this to flow our way. It seems to me that police states very often, it is partly about the ideology, but it's also partly about the money.
You better believe it. TSA is one of the greediest agencies you'll ever meet. So every one of these cases, whether they're when we know they're not factual, they'll get credit in a national database for following a suspected domestic terrorist. So guess what that means? That means they pump up the metrics. When they get to Congress, they'll get billions and billions of dollars to try to showcase how well this program's worked and how many people they followed. But at the end of the day, you will see the results are zero. They've come up with no valid leads toward terrorism by following any of the individuals that we're following right now who are related to the January 2021 visiting of the National Capital Region.
I mean, Sonia, to me, this is such a dramatic illustration of how anyone can find themselves on this kind of a list, because there are people who think, oh, the police state, but I'm not Trump and I didn't go in the Capitol. It can never happen to me. And what you're saying is, it is happening to you.
I'm telling you right now, it is happening to you. Everything that we've talked about in this movie in police state is from real people. I mean, none of the air marshals, we didn't want to come forward to have to expose the federal government for doing the wrong thing. We just want to catch bad guys. We want to go after those that hurt America on 9/11 and killed 2,977 innocent people. But we're not allowed to do that. So, Dinesh, we've got a small association, and we're fighting the federal government to thwart another 9/11, not create one. And right now, they've got us in a situation where they're creating a perfect storm for another 9/11.
Guys, check out Sonya LaBosco and others in the new film, Police State, the website, policestatefilm.net, and Sonia's website, Air Marshall, AirMarshallNC.com. Thank you very much, Sonia. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dinesh. God bless.
Mike Lindell just keeps on introducing great deals. He's featuring the all-new My Towels. Save 50% off on the 6-piece towel set. Regular price $59.96, but now for a limited time, $29.98 with promo code Dinesh. Debbie and I have Mike's My Towels all over the house. We love them for ourselves. We also like to give them as Christmas presents, so good idea for you to consider. The My Towels 6-piece set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths. The long staple length of Shirpur cotton fibers makes them very soft. Because of the long fibers, they can wrap around each other more easily, creating a smoother and softer fabric. Soft to the touch without the kind of lotiony feel. They're also super absorbent. Take advantage of the 50% off on the 6-piece towel set. Call 800-876-0227. Again, that number, 800-876-0227, or go to mypillow.com. Don't forget to use the promo code DINESH Dinesh.